Welcome back to New Venture Mentor, your source for straightforward advice to help you plan, launch, and grow your startup or small business. I'm Kate Costa, and today I want to talk to you about the much dreaded employee handbook. In my experience as a business coach, few things cause more grunts and groans from business owners than the idea that they should create an employee handbook. It's not that anyone doesn't understand the purpose of one. It's just that it takes so long to put one together, and most business owners, one, don't believe that their employees will actually read it, and two, don't think that they'll ever be in a position where the employee handbook will help save their butts. Day-to-day business doesn't halt because someone doesn't have an employee handbook, so it's one of those things that constantly gets pushed to the back burner. I recently began working with a 30-plus-year-old organization, and it hadn't updated the handbook in well over a decade. What was in it was wrong, and not a single one of the current employees had received it upon joining the organization. So, one of my fun little projects when I came on board was to create an employee handbook essentially from scratch. In my own business, I've never had an employee handbook because I've never had employees. So this was my first time going through this process, and boy was it painful. Trust me, I feel your pain, and I understand the grunts and groans. Having an employee handbook is incredibly useful, however, because it makes sure that everyone is on the same page about what is expected of them, what company policies are, and what will happen if those policies are broken. It's a great reference if employees have questions, and it covers your butt if you ever need to let somebody go for breaking a policy, because you'll have their signature on file saying they read and understood that they might get fired if they did X or failed to do Y. Let's be real though, while your butt is covered, a big binder full of legal jargon isn't exactly the most welcoming thing to hand to a new employee. It's what you have to do to make sure your ducks are in a row, but it's probably not what you want to do to highlight your company's culture and why it's such a great place to work. Given that, lots of companies have chosen to have two separate documents. One full-fledged employee handbook that includes all of the boring legal stuff, and what many call a culture guide, which is basically the Cliff's Notes or unofficial version of the employee handbook. The employees all still need to sign the full one, but the fun one can be a better point of reference because it gives more insight into the real heart of the business, as opposed to what the lawyers said had to be done. Many organizations choose to make these culture guides interactive. I've seen PowerPoints, Prezis, Wikis, a series of videos, just tons of different things. So, if you want to create an employee handbook that's actually useful and your team will actually read and reference, consider making two. Now, please note that I am not a lawyer, and you should definitely talk to an experienced professional about what you need to include where, but this is just one idea to get you started on the employee handbook process. That's it for this week here on New Venture Mentor. If you liked this video, please let me know by liking it and sharing it on social media. I've also recently enabled community contributions on all of my YouTube videos, so I would be incredibly appreciative if any of you would be willing to take a stab at translating some of those videos so that those who speak languages other than English can access them. You obviously don't need to do it all, but every little bit helps, so thanks in advance to those of you who decide to contribute. That's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on New Venture Mentor.